Alright, so now we're going to learn how to use the color sensor. So for this project, what we're going to do is we're going to try to have it follow a green cube. So we'll have 3 color sensors on the front of a robot. If the middle sensor sees it, we'll just go forward. If the left one sees it, we'll turn to the left, and if the right one sees it, we'll turn to the right. So the idea is you can kind of move a green cube in front of it, and it'll keep following it. Along with that, we'll display onto the screen what the middle sensor is reading, and we'll have a touch LED display the color that the middle sensor thinks it sees. This way we can at least kind of visually see what it thinks it's seeing. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we need to do is we need to set up our motors and sensors. So go in here. For me, my left drive motor is in port 1. So I'm going to name it left drive, put the motor there. And my right drive motor is in port 6. So create that motor there. And for me, I have to reverse the right one. I'm using the base spot with the sensors on the front end of it. So if yours is the same way, it should be set up like this. Then under devices, I have my left color sensor in port 2. For the color sensors, we're going to use the color hue because this lets us easily see what specific color it is without having to use the names. So my middle one is in port 4. It's the same process. We're going to give it color hue. And then I have the right color sensor, which we're going to put here. Also is hue. And then in port 5 I have the touch LED. I'm just going to name it LED, and there we go. So now we have all of our stuff set up for us, so that way our sensors and motors are ready to go. So let's get started on the program. Now this is one that we're going to want to run over and over again, so we're going to go ahead and put in a while true loop, so that way whatever code we put in will run forever. So now we're going to first work on that very first part of how do we read the color sensor and how can we make the LED match it. So that way we can visually see what it's reading. And also we're going to figure out how to do it on the screen. So the first part that we're going to do is, you should be familiar with how to control the LED. So you do the set touch LED hue, and then you do the sensor name, which is LED, and then the value you want to set it to. So previously you should have gone through and you set a number in and that'll set the hue. Now what we're going to do is we're going to read our color sensor and have it put that in for the value. So to read the color sensor, the command is get color hue and then the sensor name. So we're going to use the middle sensor. So we named it middle color. And so this right here should read the value of the middle sensor, and then it'll give it to the set touch LED method. So that way our LED will turn on to the color that it thinks it's reading. Now along with that, because while we can visually see what color it is, we don't necessarily know what value that is. So we're going to use another command, and what this will do is it'll display it onto the screen. So the command looks like this. So display centered text line. What that does is on the screen, it'll display a line of text, and it'll keep it centered so that way it's in the middle and easy to read. So it's on line 0, so that'll be that very first line on your screen. And what we're displaying is middle hue, and then there's this %D. Now, when we do the % sign in the display text things, what it does is it actually will put in the value of a variable. So %D stands for decimal, so it'll put in a number there. So then after the comma, here's the number that we're going to put in. So this %D will get replaced by the value of this. So this get color hue command is again the same command we used here, and it will read the hue value of the sensor and display it on the screen. So if you go ahead, you can try this out and see. If you download it, you should be able to set different colored cubes in front of it, and the touch LED will match that color, and on the screen it'll let you know what color it is. This way you can get an idea of what colors are what hues.